Let's start with an interesting stat, shall we? Not so great if you're a Manchester City fan, by the way. But in the last 25 seasons, only one team that has lost their opening match of the campaign has actually gone on to win the title. And that team was Manchester United, your team, Leanne, back in 2012, 2013. And it was against your team, Leon, Everton. So you will like that stat as well?
Yeah, I actually love that stat. But...
Brilliant. But it's interesting. But how about this match, though? We built it up. Everyone's been talking about Manchester City and the build-up to it. But, hey, Tottenham came out on top.
They did. And they deserved to come out on top. And also, it shouldn't be surprising. They've done it the last 4 occasions that Manchester City have been there. They go about it in the same manner. They sit deep. They play on the counter-attack. And yet Manchester City seem to fall for it every single time. It seems to have become a bogey ground for them. And, you know, how that, considering the other thing that popped up on the screen there, Mendy and Aki performing in 7 games together for Manchester City. They've lost 4 of them. So to go there on the opening game, to allow yourself to be counter-attacked on, was really surprising for me, and Spurs took advantage of it.
And you've got to credit Spurs and Nuno for the game plan as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of Tottenham fans this season, you know, it just goes to show you today, Manchester City have spent so much money, haven't they? And there's been a lot of talk about Jack Grealish. But for me, you look at the likes of Son, they've still got Reguilon. I think a lot of Tottenham fans, you know, look at likes of Eric Dyer, Sissoko, and Ndombele, those types of players that weren't even really playing together. Dyer did. But I think Tottenham are in a decent space. And I think it goes to show if you spend all that money, doesn't mean you're going to get results. But then at the same time, I still think Manchester City are going to be OK. You know, it's one game. It's fantastic. The Tottenham and the fact the fans are there in front of 60,000 fans is fantastic to see. And I'm sure great to get Nuno off to a winning start.
Yeah, and we spoke about the importance of a strong start. I mean, Manchester City last season only took, 8 points from their opening 12 games. So we knew that all of these teams that are competing for the title needed to get off to a strong start. But it was actually down to Son that they took all 3 points today, Tottenham did. But he was quite negative in the first half, wasn't he?
Into the next games because he makes changes, he's not afraid to make changes.
And actually, saying that, we saw on that graphic earlier that they've only won 2 of the 7 games that they've started together. So, you know, they're not used to each other yet, and they're going to have to get used to each other quick.
Well, if they want to stay in the team, they're going to have to perform much better. I'd be surprised to see them playing as a pair very often moving forward. As you said, that's 7 occasions that the managers give them the opportunity to play together, and they've lost 4 occasions. So that's too many for Manchester City. They need to win games. They need to get off to brighter starts. And they allowed the likes of Son and Bergwijn and Moura just to run into the spaces, to get in behind them. There was no part where they decided to defend first and allow the play to go on ahead of them and join in the attacks. It was too easy for Tottenham to break into them spaces and take advantage.
Got to talk about Jack Grealish. I know you love him as a player. Yeah. What did you make of his debut?
Yeah, I've gone to our rival team, being a Manchester United fan, but credit where it's due, and he's a fantastic signing. And obviously the pressure's now on Manchester City, isn't it? You know, all this money, you know, Jack Grealish going there, there's a lot of talk about them potentially, you know, retaining the league again, but the pressure's on them, and other teams are going to be coming for them. Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, it's not a foregone conclusion anymore.
And today, did it show us, Leon, that actually Man City still do need a number 9?
Absolutely. They were outstanding last season, playing with this false 9, with a different style of playing. But I just think when you go into that second season, I think the opposition have just seen it before. They've come up with different ways of adjusting. No doubt that Manchester City will win a lot more games playing without a number 9. But, you know, the very top teams will have just figured that out. And I think it will help the likes of Grealish and Sterling. If they've got a striker ahead of them when they come in, they've got someone who's making those runs in behind, stretching the opposition. It'll give them more spaces. But I think I do think it's vital that they bring one in if they want to compete on every competition possible, like we know they want to.
And do we think that player will be Harry Kane? I mean, he didn't play today, did he? But I know that he only had a couple of days of training, didn't he? So he wasn't fit enough to start or to play. But do you think we'll see Harry Kane in a Manchester City shirt?
It seems that way, but the conversations seem to have died down a little bit the last, you know, few days. But they desperately need one. You know, today I do think we're seeing a different Manchester City than what we're going to see this season. You know, there's no Foden. You know, there's no John Stones today. So they are going to come good. It's just one game. So I think a lot of City fans have these high expectations. But, you know, I do think they desperately need a number 9. I mean, last year, as Leon said, Kevin De Bruyne played there, Mahrez played there, and they got away with it. But now teams are maybe nullifying that and able to see what they can do to counteract that. And, you know, as we saw today, Tottenham played on the counter and they were fearless, wasn't they? Bergwijn, Son, you know, and they capitalised on the mistakes that Manchester City had, and they didn't start the season in the way that we know they can.
Are Man City the ones to beat, though, for you? Judging by this opening weekend, I know it's very early, but we've got to talk about it anyway.
It's tough to judge after an opening weekend, as Leanne said. I don't think you can say anything really about Man City after one game. We know how strong they are. Their squad is huge, full of quality. The bench, people not even on the bench. But
does Kane or no Kane tip it for you, though?
I think it gives them probably back to being favourites again. But I look at Chelsea, strengthened, brought in Lukaku. I think Manchester United have had a right go this summer in trying to strengthen to bridge that gap. Liverpool will come strong again. So I think it'll be a much tighter race than it was last season. But I think Manchester City still probably edgier at the moment.
Yeah, I still think City are favourites.
Yeah, OK. Well, another star performer today was Lucas Moura, and he caught up with Steve Bauer, Alan Shearer and Les Ferdinand on Matchday Live.
How good does that feel to beat the champions on the opening weekend?
Thank you. It's amazing. It's amazing. The first game of the season to play against City with the fans back. The feeling was unbelievable, and I think we did really well. I am really proud of my teammates, of my team, and that's what the fans deserve.
What was the game plan today?
It's too early to apply the new philosophy of the new coach, but I think we did well. He asked us to try to close the middle, close the gaps, and be aggressive. And I think we did really well, and we deserve the win.
Lucas, it's Alan Shearer. How much better was it having fans in the stadium? We could hear the atmosphere from here in the studio, but for you as a player, how much are you feeding off that, you and your teammates?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I am very happy. Even in the bus before arriving at the stadium, I told Sonny it's very strange to have the fans back. A lot of people around the stadium. But I am very happy because it was a tough period with no fans, difficult situation for everyone. And I always say that football is about fans. And today the feeling was amazing.
Lucas, Les Ferdinand here. Lucas, all the talk this week is, over the last week has been about Harry Kane. How have the boys been in the changing rooms? The fact that there's talk about him going and all that. What's the feeling in the changing rooms?
The feeling, I think, is exactly the same that you feel. Everyone is excited to see the end of this history. But of course, we hope to have him with us this season because he's an unbelievable player, one of the best strikers in the world. We are all waiting for the end of the history. But our focus is on the games now, on the Premier League, and now in the next game. But we hope to have him.
And when he's not there, Sonny doesn't half step up, doesn't he? That's another goal for him against Manchester City. 4, I think, in this fixture for him now.
I think he's ready to play on that position if we don't have sorry, there's a lot of noise here.
No problem.
If we don't have Harry, I think Sonny is ready to play on that position. He's very good on that. He makes very good movements, and he's quick, he's clever, and he's ready.
And what does it do for the first game under Nuno, your new manager, to go and beat the champions? How much confidence does that give you from your first match?
I think it's the best way to start the season, beating the champion. We know how hard it is to play against them. It's hard to have the ball, but we controlled the game very well. And we know that against them we have to have a high commitment, effort, and fight for the ball every time. And it was what we did today. The only way to beat them is like this.
Lucas, time and time again, you caught Manchester City on the break and the counter-attack with your pace, with Son's pace. Was that something you've worked on in this week? Because I thought the two of you were magnificent the whole game in doing that, and you could have won by more.
Yes.
What you did, you were under heavy pressure early on, and you turned it around.
I mean, we did just great job. We know Man City is a really good team. It's one of the best teams in the world. So we prepare really well. We work hard for the preseason, and yeah, I think we showed on the pitch. I think we did great job. Defense was a solid. Offensive, we were dangerous. So I think that's what we expected game, and yeah, we did amazingly.
You picked up where you left off last season, 17 Premier League goals, your best ever. Can you beat it?
There's no promise. I will try to do my best game by game. Obviously, I want to play for the team, and the individual things are coming automatically when I have the team. So yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward this season. I want to help the team as much as I can. So then we'll see end of season if I beat this record or not.
Nuno, what would you say about your managerial debut for Tottenham Hotspur?
It was good. It was good. I think the atmosphere, especially the hard work of the boys, can make any manager proud when they work so hard.
Did you find you had to turn things around after the first 10-15 minutes? Did Manchester City come out quickly?
Of course, it was strong. And I think we were lucky because they had clear chances. But the boys hold on. They stay in the game. We knew that it's going to be tough. I think after that first period, like you say, 15 minutes, I think we control better, we adjust better, and we start creating our chances. The first half, I think we didn't finish so good with the actions. Even those that we shoot on goal, we didn't do it. But like you said, the beginning of the game was very tough.
What changed the balance in the game when you started so strongly? How did they manage to get the upper hand? You talked about the reasons why. How did they get themselves into the game?
Well, when you lose the ball, Son going in behind, they contact with Berwin and Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura has the quality to take the ball and drive with the ball and have to defend deeper. And it happened because we could not make the simple things a little bit better. So we lose the balls, the inside-outside. When it was clear, touch the ball, this ball has to defend deep. And in that we are good, and today so we missed that. Except of that, in general, was really good. So we press high, long balls. Sometimes we lose the second balls, and but in general the game was good. I'm not complaining. We have the same feeling. So we arrive here and we make a good game. The stats always are exceptional in many things. The previous years, it's always the same, except the first season when I arrived here in White Hart Lane, that we lost deservedly. The other ones had the feeling we are good. But always we are not able to get results.